Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today. And one of these bots saying, "Greetings, BenBotBC, may our battle be legendary." That's Sharkbot talking. One of the top Protoss bots. Gonna be taking on BenBot, a Terran bot that very much marches to the beat of its own drum, in that it is probably the best late game bot. Very cool to see. And so yeah, a TVP, ladies and gentlemen. We've got two bots here today though that like to sometimes get a little bit aggressive at the start of the game, so we'll see if either of these are going to go for like a light cheese. Like BenBot sometimes opens up with its bunker rush. Sharkbot will sometimes do whatever Sharkbot does, which is sometimes cannons or Colossus drops, that kind of thing. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. Give it a click, give it a clack, give it a smack, whatever it may be, as that helps with the YouTube algorithm, which you can also help out with by leaving a comment down below saying more bots, more sharks, more BCs, whatever it may be. That helps out. And yeah, if we can hit, I don't know, 3 likes on this video for 3 ports, I guess, in the Vespine Geyser. And yeah, we've got Sharkbot Scout being kind of cornered. The factory of BenBot actually kind of messes with the pathing of the probe, but somehow it still makes it on out of there. And BenBot is building its bunker on the low ground, which is very bizarre. That probe also manages to get a stab on that SCV. So I'm wondering if this is the new map effect that's been messing with some of the bots. Because, yeah, this is just bizarre from BenBot. Like, usually it bunker rushes the opponent, like at the Nexus or whatever, or then it builds a bunker and has like a nice early game wall that it gets up. This is definitely not this match, just a bunker on the low ground. So I'm wondering if this is maybe the bot's programming hasn't been updated for the new maps. Maybe it's just something different from the bot author. Anyway, we do have this probe still being a nuisance as an SCV and that Marine try and chase it down, but BenBot does have a timeout on that, so they don't just chase that probe forever. There is a command center on the way for the Terran bot. Meanwhile, Sharkbot is just doing its thing on the side of the map, getting up a Twilight Council, producing a couple of adepts here, and then just getting up, yeah, just has that natural nexus up already, so it's heading into that good economy. And then this probe is still out on the map. It finally gets caught by 2 of those Marines. The wall for BenBot is definitely going to be an interesting one. We'll have to see what kind of wall it's going to build as this game goes on, because BenBot usually does like to wall off its natural. Maybe not in the TVP matchup if I think about it. But one SCV is getting potentially killed by this adept, as the adept doesn't commit to that shade in the main base. It's just chasing down the worker. But then this bunker here is kind of stopping that adept pathing. So who knows? Maybe a forward bunker is a way to deal with these Protoss bots and their adepts by forcing them to put out the shade earlier. I don't know. That's a bit of a reach. But the adept for Sharkbot does actually find its way all the way around the base. Now going to get to this natural. Doesn't complete the shade though. BenBot's command center does pop on up though. And this adept is not fighting that Marine, and just gonna shade towards that natural. Doesn't complete the shade once more, takes a few more shots, but then does run on out of there. For those of you wondering, adept's move speed is 3.5, whereas Marine's is 3.15. With stim, that equation changes up a little bit. But yeah, now we've got Sharkbot making blink. Just about got it done with a warp prism on the way, so I think we're going to be seeing a bit of a classic 4-gate blink from Sharkbot. We'll see how well it's going to execute this. BenBot does have the bunker, the siege tank, not exactly in ideal positions for defense. Combat shield is on the way as well for BenBot, which could definitely help out in this situation, but these Marines being out on the map is not ideal. because these stalkers will gobble them up unless they get back home. So the Marines do turn around, which is good to see. BenBot has actually got a few more Marines trying to catch this Adept still, and it looks like this one will actually be caught, so BenBot can go home. Another Widow Mine's on the way. Another tank just finished up for BenBot. Where's this tank going to siege up? Or is it going to be looking for a fight? This is not what BenBot wants to be fighting out on the map. The tank does siege up. The Stalkers are going to move forward on top of it. 2 Marauders did pop out, but the tank does go down regardless of them getting some shots off. And here's the Prism microing against those Marauders very well. This is why Terrans need to hunker down against this. Oh, Sharkbot, I guess trying to save its Prism does cancel that Warpin though, which is a little bit painful. It's going to take time for those gateways to come off cooldown once more, so going to have a few less Stalkers than it actually should, and Sharkbot is actually floating a tremendous amount of money right now. I'll say 2,100 resources, 2,100 minerals, whereas only 200 gas, so clearly that's the bottleneck. More Stalkers warping on in, but then it cancels the Warpin once again. Sharkbot having a bit of a bugging out time. Who knows, maybe it would have just been able to kill BenBot if it had warped in more Stalkers, but for now BenBot is holding the line. That Prism, I don't know if it's like canceling the Warpin because it decides it needs to pick up a unit or something, or whether it just cancels the Warpin because there's enemy units nearby. But a lot of missed opportunity for Sharkbot. The Protoss bot is now up to 2,800 minerals, so it really needs to maybe have its macro tweaked a little bit to just throw up that extra Nexus if it's got like over 1,000 minerals in the bank or something, because at no point in StarCraft 2 should you ever have that big of a bank, really. We do have that Viking pushing the Prism away, which is nice. BenBot has held off against this rush as Sharkbot goes to transition. There's now Robo Bay on the way. I do kind of wonder how far that push could have gone for Sharkbot had it not canceled those Warpins due to whatever bug or programming oversight that it had there. There is at least a 3rd base on the way. Sharkbot now getting up an extra gas, so its gas income should improve, but it's got enough money it could throw down like 4 Nexus right now if it wanted to. I guess that's just the speed mining maybe having some effect on the build a little bit there, because speed mining gives you more minerals, it doesn't give you more gas, and with a build that's sometimes bottlenecked by gas like Stalkers, that can lead to problems. BenBot has held on and survived. It's now going to be able to float over a 3rd base, which it will probably turn into a planetary. The Terran bot is still producing a good amount of bio behind this, though, getting Stimpak on the way. So it's not just making tanks and aiming for BCs. There is bio forces. That's something that BenBot mixes into its army. Meanwhile, Sharkbot is getting Gravitic drives, faster Prisms, more gateways on the way. And yeah, trying to build a forge, but it's already built buildings there, but redundancy is in place that it does try and build that again. A 4th base is now on the way for Sharkbot as well. I think it is a Sharkbot thing that it doesn't double expand, I want to say, no matter how much money it's got. So I'm willing to bet if we watch Sharkbot, it will probably take another expansion as long as it's still got money in the bank as soon as this Nexus is done. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. The Protoss bot, though, is on quite a strong economy. There's mining away with 71 probes. The Terran bot does have that 3rd up, but it's going to be a little bit slower of an economy than other Terran bots, which I have to. If there was a LaughNgamez bingo card casting BenBot and saying BenBot builds PFs, not orbitals, that would be on it. Now, there is the first battle cruiser about to pop out for BenBot. Weapon refit on the way, so going to have that Yamato cannon. Lots of upgrades, lots of structures going up. Meanwhile, Sharkbot just invests in 5 cannons. So we're watching this Nexus to see if Sharkbot will expand as soon as this one's done. And it's got a glitchy probe once again. But it does get right to work after that. And yeah, I'm curious. Will Sharkbot throw up another Nexus? Yeah, see, this is a Sharkbot thing. It will only expand once it's got one. It will only build 1 Nexus at a time, which is a very logical way to go about it, but in cases where the bot does have so many minerals, that's why it only builds that 1 Nexus. Now, Sharkbot is still going to have an incredibly strong economy. 4 bases fully saturated up already, getting the 5th on the way up. Meanwhile, BenBot does have an extra command center done, so we'll be floating that over to take a 4th base as both these bots kind of just chill out and max out a little bit. When you think of late game StarCraft 2 bots, you gotta think of BenBot and Sharkbot pretty much. I was thinking about this before I cast. I'm like, man, what bots have really late game matches? It's like BenBot, Sharkbot, Cannon Anna sometimes. I mean, some bots like Cannon Anna do have a lot of late game development put into them, but it doesn't necessarily mean a lot of their matches reach to the late game if it just, say, wins them by the 10 or 15 minute mark sometimes. So it takes 2 to tango in these late game bot matches, and that's why I'm casting Sharkbot and BenBot here today. We have got that 4th planetary fortress getting established for BenBot. Both these bots have got quite the economy going right now. Sharkbot getting up extra gas, got that 5th base done. No 6th base on the way until right now, as I say that. We saw the Observer moved out with the Stalker to potentially clean up a burrowed Ling if BenBot happened to be a Zerg, which is cool to see. And a Fleet Beacon is on the way for Sharkbot now, which is cool to see. We're going to be getting potentially some mass air versus mass air. For now, though, Sharkbot is very heavily on a ground-based composition, but Stalkers aren't terrible against BCs in the early game. I'm also a big fan of the expansion speed of Sharkbot, just that it does at least throw down that Nexus pretty much every time. Every time one completes. BenBot, though, at the same time is also expanding at quite a nice rate. Landing 1 base, having another command center building, so it's going to be 5 bases against, well, 5 bases. Sharkbot's slightly leading the way with the 6 on the way already. But, yeah, nothing too significant going on so far. Just look at that production tab. It kind of speaks for itself as far as these bots getting all the upgrades. Sharkbot does build quite the killer death ball. However, battle cruisers are no joke. Sharkbot is now maxed out, still making more units though, not moving out until those extra units have been produced, and we'll see if even then if it's going to move out. Maybe it's waiting for some upgrades or something like that. BenBot is going to be the first one that decides to move on out, giving us a nice little chat tag saying attack with tanks. Now, I'm not sure if the bioforce of BenBot is going to be up to this task. It's quite a monumental task trying to take down this Protoss army, as Sharkbot does seem to be aware that this is coming, so this Nexus is going to be cancelled. For BenBot, battle cruisers are doing their thing. There's not too many Tempests to challenge them just yet, as, yeah, some Yamato cannons, I believe, have already been dumped. The BCs are flying forward. They take some damage. They get pushed on out. The Bio, though, still was able to cancel his base. Sharkbot is going to get that back up pretty much right away. So far, though, the Protoss bot is just taking its time and dealing with this army. There's bio and tanks all over the place now. Probes are being pulled into the fight as Sharkbot has this extra expansion attempt, but I'm not sure if it's going to see the light of day. The bio on the right side is probably going to get dealt with. Sharkbot does seem to be having a bit of a hard time with its unit placement, though, as far as it does tend to split the difference at times when its army is split up, which doesn't necessarily always work. We've got probes fighting marauders as Sharkbot just pumps them out right now. We've got a mothership on the way, carrier on the way for Sharkbot. The Protoss bot is now repositioning some of its units to deal with this, so it took a little bit of damage, but nothing too major. There is some Marines attacking this Nexus here, but there's cannons and batteries to defend it, so that should be all that it takes. A couple the probes of Sharkbot are extra feisty today, and yeah, once Sharkbot's army is in the right place, it doesn't have that much difficulty dealing with what BenBot threw at it. As I say that, though, we've got a massive 5 battle cruisers at a time building for the Terran bot. No BCs have gone down just yet, so just like that, BenBot is going to double the size of its fleet, which is ridiculous. Sharkbot's now got to deal with these battle cruisers, and it's not necessarily always in the right place to play that defensive game. The batteries are going to buy a little bit of time as these BCs just rain down fire. They don't even have +1 attack yet, but they're going to have that momentarily. Also going to, well, 1 armor upgrade as BenBot slowly chips away at its upgrade. Sharkbot is making 7 probes at a time to replace those that it's lost. It's getting another Nexus up here. Meanwhile, BenBot is still just hanging out on 5 bases. We'll have to see if it's going to take a 6th at any time. Once the Protoss army does show up, the battle cruisers take their time, but they eventually leave. Disruptors tossing out Novas, but BenBot's got some good splitting behavior programmed into it. And Sharkbot is going to lose this Nexus. Going to potentially lose a couple of units against these BCs. It will clean this army up, I believe, but it's definitely taken its time. The Stalkers and Zealots aren't exactly doing too much in this situation. The Terran bio for BenBot is still just running all over the place. The two Vikings, they actually get a carrier. 4 Vikings, pardon me. So this army does get cleaned on up. BenBot still has yet to take another expansion, which is something we'll have to keep an eye on. This Terran bot doesn't necessarily always expand as fast as other bots. I mean, it's got a very strong 6 base economy right now. Sharkbot, though, is on 8, I believe. So that's quite the advantage for it. Sharkbot's actually taken all the bases on its side of the map, replacing the Nexus that it lost. BenBot, meanwhile, is still just rolling the upgrades, so is Sharkbot. And both these bots are maxed out, so no major results from that fight. The Vikings are still flying around being a nuisance. Sharkbot, though, isn't exactly the fastest bot to respond to a threat in its sight. It's got this pooling behavior to keep it nice and safe and not to really overextend. It is chilling back with the Tempest. A couple more Tempest in here I think would definitely help it out, as that mothership is about to go down. All the battle cruisers for BenBot just show up. Man, what a Terran army. Vikings in the sky to help deal with the air units. The Stalkers and Zealots are moving forward for Sharkbot, but hopefully Sharkbot doesn't make any more Zealots, because those 20 Zealots it has are really eating into its supply. It's going to have a very tough time dealing with this Terran battle cruiser fleet. I'd love to see those Zealots just go for a run-by or something, because right now it is 7 Stalkers against 11 battle cruisers. I don't care how many battery overcharges you got, that is not going to cut it. There is High Templar on the ground, but while they've got Psystorm research, they don't necessarily have Psystorm energy. Feedback hits a Raven, but the High Templar just get taken out. The Zealots really are panicking. They're like, oh god, oh gosh, I don't know what to do. Sharkbot does seemingly hold on for now. It's just kind of trickling out units, though. It definitely needs a bit heavier of the air production to get rid of some of these Zealots, which are just completely dead supply for it. As, yeah, that's a lot of army supply tied up, when that could be extra Tempest, extra carriers. The High Templar, I do love Sharkbot adding those in. We'll see if they actually get to their energy this time. BenBot is at least taking up another base. But if we do look, the resources lost cost efficiency is 10,000 resources ahead for BenBot. So Sharkbot is actually securing this southern nexus, which is very important, because it basically needs an extra base worth of resources or to suddenly start taking much better fights. So that could really help Sharkbot out. Stalkers are out on the map. For some reason, though, it is producing more Zealots. I'm not sure what the case of this is, but it's only got a measly 3 Tempest against all these battle cruisers. Stalkers are not going to cut it. There's just, I guess, the Protoss force trying to respond to this one Hellion. Yamato cannons are going to go down. Vikings are chasing down that mothership. It's still alive for now. The Yamato cannon going to get dropped, but I think the unit got saved by the cloaking behavior of the mothership. So Sharkbot, yeah, it needs to clean things up a little bit. It did lose 10 Zealots. As long as it doesn't produce them, I'll be happy, and this actually frees up more supply for Sharkbot. The Protoss bot doesn't exactly have a big bank, though, as it's lost way more money than BenBot, whereas BenBot has actually got a much bigger bank than its opponent. So Sharkbot's actually having a lot of its army cleaned up here. Stalkers are stuck in a corner, hiding out. Useless Zealots are just body blocking everything. And while there is a battery on the ground, that's going to help out still, though. Most of the air fleet was cleaned up once more. More Stalkers are being produced. And so Sharkbot does hold on to this Nexus, it seems. Who knows, maybe it can move forward. Mass anti-armor missile gets tossed out by the Ravens. There is this planetary rather close to the base of Sharkbot. Sharkbot, it's getting more upgrades going, getting Void Rays and Tempest on the way. The income for the Protoss bot is higher than that of the Terran bot. And holding on to this Nexus is actually really objective number 1 for Sharkbot at this point. It needs to keep this base alive, needs to start taking some better trades, most likely, if it wants to have success. Fighting on a base with batteries could definitely help out with these trades. But look at this, it's just 3 Tempest, make that 2 Tempest as one goes down, trying to fight off all these battle cruisers. BenBot's up to 11 with a 12th battle cruiser on the way. The Stalkers are just trapped in a corner. Battery overcharge is present, but the Stalkers are afraid to engage this. I really can't blame them. It's only 16 Stalkers against 11 BCs with the odd Tempest in here to support. The battery overcharge definitely does help keep these units alive, though. So I'll say that that's quite important. BenBot's pushing in with its bit of bio on the ground. Most of the resources lost for BenBot is that bio dying again and again. So far, Sharkbot is trying to hold on to this location. The rest of the bases really just are silent out on the map right now as these bots just focus on this one spot. It seems Yamato cannons being dumped again and again. And Tempest, they only have 100 shields, which is why a Yamato cannon nearly kills them. I believe it would have killed them in the old days, back when it was 300 damage, before they, I guess, tweaked the Tempest and tweaked the battlecruiser, because battlecruisers, yeah, they had their Yamato cannon damage actually reduced a little bit, which is probably a good thing, because they did used to one-shot things like Void Rays, but not anymore. It's like BenBot is trying to get a bit aggressive, but the bio ground army still seems a little bit confused. There's mass Yamato cannons going down once again, as the air fleet is really in a lot of trouble for Sharkbot. It's 14k resources lost to 32k, so while Sharkbot does mine from this location, it's not really getting the trades it needs. BenBot has got 10k in the bank, some bases that are basically still fresh, so unless it starts taking some horrible trades, like, in cases like this, it would be a nightmare to program, but if Sharkbot just wasn't afraid and blinked forward with its Stalkers, then retreated, like, that would actually be allowing it to get some good pickoffs. But the problem is, how do you go about programming that and not just having a bot that suicides all the time? You can't really, but this is the end result. I do think that maybe having some sort of check, like if your units, I don't know how you'd go about it, but if your units are trapped in a corner, it's better to fight in cases like this, as opposed to just hiding around this one Tempest. Sharkbot's trying to pool up its units. It makes a Colossus for some reason. This Nexus does perish, though, which is a big loss for the Protoss bot, as it will be mining out at some point, and it needs these extra resources to balance the books against its opponent. Sharkbot does reestablish the Nexus. It isn't exactly building the mass cannons like it does sometimes, though, which is interesting. There's still 6 Zealots out on the map, but slowly they've been getting phased on out. Sharkbot's now moving out across as BenBot takes a moment to breathe, to repair its battlecruisers, I suppose. They are all repaired, though, and man, oh man, this is intimidating as these BCs are flying on out. I'm not sure why Sharkbot's repositioning its army. It's just moving up towards this base here, and so this Nexus is going to die. Does it turn around upon that attack? Yes, it does, so not the most optimal positioning there, as I guess it just went, I don't know why it went to defend that northern base, but that's what it did. So that Nexus is going to perish once more. Sharkbot has managed to build up a little bit of a bank. Fighting in the middle of the map could be better for it if its units stop just hiding in a corner. Tempest, there's actually a few more Tempest out. I don't think it's had 4 out before, so it's getting some better shots off, killing these Vikings quite easily. The battlecruisers are just in the business of deleting bases right now, as probes are just getting cut down. This Nexus is not going to live for long. 10 BCs are hanging out. BenBot is losing lots of units in the middle of the map. Sharkbot is attempting to reestablish this Nexus, but it's going to have to rebuild this one too. The Tempest are coming out. The Observer, with its speed, sees these very quickly, so the Tempest can start shooting away. They're going to do just that. The Stalkers really are just dead supply in this case, though, as they're not helping fight. Time Warp goes down, which is actually quite nice. Catches the BCs. The Tempest are getting more shots off for Sharkbot, forcing those battlecruisers to retreat. But yeah, the Stalkers and the ground army, they just aren't exactly synchronizing with the Air Force, it seems. Vikings are flying forward. They actually managed to pick off the mothership, which is a nice find. The Tempest, though, they all stay alive, getting some good shots off. The Marauder is harassing this location. Sharkbot, though, desperately needs to get these bases up once more, and it is trying to do that. A BC down at this location, though, now with +3 attack, is actually able to get lots of work done. And, well, I mean, it puts out a lot of damage. It's going to be able to cancel that Nexus. Sharkbot, though, is seemingly taking a bit better trades, and now it's time for me to mention that unit resources lost spent on repair doesn't show on on the unit's lost tab until the unit dies. So you can have like a planetary fortress or a battle cruiser, something that's been repaired endlessly. It can die, and all of a sudden your resources lost shoots up 5,000. So as an observer, that can kind of skew the metrics a little bit. We do have Sharkbot trying to retake this base. It's just not going to happen. However, the Protoss does come on in, and it's actually going to be hitting BenBot's planetary. So far, Sharkbot has been on the defensive pretty much all game. The gateway units, while they've been sleeping most of this game, target down those SCVs with ease and actually kill off that location. And so that is going to cut into the resources of BenBot. Big anti-armor missile does soften up these Protoss units, though, and that really benefits battle cruisers against them. Still, though, the Tempest are doing a great job for Sharkbot, kiting back. BenBot has yet to... Well, it hasn't made a go at taking one of these other bases, which is unfortunate. It's building an extra command center now, but... yeah, never attempted to take any of those other bases. The Tempest are getting some pickoffs for BenBot. Well, for Sharkbot, pardon me, and the Protoss bank is growing. Eventually, BenBot's is going to start shrinking as it just lost its most fresh base. It's rebuilding that command center, but like I said, BenBot never really attempted to take this base, even though it got cleaned on up. Battle cruisers are still able to dump their Yamato cannons. Vikings are getting a little bit too gung-ho flying forward. How many of those have died? 29 Vikings dead this game and only 1 dead battle cruiser. Really says something. Now, BenBot does need to reestablish this base if it wants to have a chance in this game. Resources lost are still very good for the Terran bot. So, it's still definitely not in a terrible spot, but things have looked better for Sharkbot in the past couple minutes when Sharkbot stopped cowering on top of that base. Vikings are flying forward, but they're doing so without the support of the BCs as they get too far forward. The Tempest are getting shot down. Actually, though, in come the battle cruisers. Yamato cannon's going to be getting utilized, and that is going to be some nice pickoffs. Anti-armor missiles softening up these stalkers once more. Big size storm hits the BCs, and they do elect to retreat on out of there, though. And so BenBot gets forced back once more. We have got BenBot saying test armor red. I wonder what that is for. I do not know. That's interesting. A Tempest goes down to a turret and the work of the Vikings. So Sharkbot is actually bleeding off some of these critical units that it needs. Still, though, its bank is continuing to grow. It is mining from this base down here. There's even a cannon set up. I'd love to see more cannons and batteries. BenBot's trying to reestablish this base, but it's just not going to happen. I wonder if this command center is now going to fly like over here, is upon this base attempting to land. We'll see. Okay, it's just going to hang out till this location does get cleaned up. So BenBot will reestablish this base. This is quite important. It's also money that Sharkbot's losing as it commits pylons to the Nexus. Zealots warping in, trying to save this spot. Cool defensive behavior from Sharkbot, but not what it needs right now. And this command center should be able to land if these Marauders get out of the way. I'm not sure why it's not trying to land now. There we go. You can do it, command center. That Marauder does get out of the way. While this is going on, though, I mean, Sharkbot just deleted another base and is taking BenBot to the cleaners, just killing that location. I'm not sure it's worth it for Sharkbot to expand to, as Widowmines get some shots off on that Protoss army. The planetary, I mean, it's shooting some of the ground units. BenBot is now on the defensive. It's got a massive army, though, with 140 army supply after losing many of its SCVs. The planetary shooting this Protoss force. Did Sharkbot overcommit here? BCs, they take damage, the Yamato cannon, then they retreat. And so far, there's only been 1 dead battle cruiser. In comes the rest of them. And what a Terran fleet this is. These guys, they may be able to clean up this Protoss army. We shall see. BenBot's having to lift off one of its few orbitals over this Protoss force is just shrinking. The battle cruisers are not dying during this. BenBot's even trying to reestablish those bunkers 28 minutes into the game, which is very darn cool. And Yamato cannons still going down. Maybe Sharkbot's air units can at least just fly away. However, more Yamato cannons going to go down. The mothership can eat 1 or 2 of those, but things are not looking too hot for the Protoss army, so Sharkbot's going to have to rebuild those units that it lost. Still, though, Sharkbot does have the extra base. The banks are starting to get a little bit closer to each other. BenBot does at least have this base, which is going to give it a bit more life, but Sharkbot may have what it needs with these more fresh locations. Okay, an Immortal now on the way for Sharkbot. Both these bots are staying maxed out. I can't imagine how many Yamato cannons have been utilized this match. BenBot losing most of its resources, though, in the Vikings, in the bio that it commits, in the repair on the BCs, and that base does perish. Sharkbot even wants to expand here, which is definitely a waste of money. Tanks doing what they can. The Planetary going to be shooting some of these Stalkers. The Stalkers are getting very aggressive for Sharkbot once again. They clean out the tanks. Battlecruisers, though, deal lots of damage to Stalkers, so that could be some good efficiency for BenBot. The bank is shrinking for the Blue Terran bot, though. We've got almost the heart of BenBot being broken, as the place the BCs are retreating to is really on the front lines at this point, though. Still, Sharkbot loses lots of units as it moves forward. The resources loss difference is 14,000 right now. This is quite concerning, though, for BenBot, because I imagine it's spent, I don't know, probably like 10k on trying to repair these battlecruisers, and one of them goes down. That is not good. BenBot's really been burning through its bank. It's making more Tempest. It's making more SCVs. It just doesn't have that much of an income anymore, whereas Sharkbot is still mining at full tilt. So what looked like a bit of a... Where are the rest of these BCs? Okay, there's two over there. There's a bunch flying towards the north, so BenBot really isn't trying to defend its main base right now. It's maybe trying to get some damage done or something like that. It's just fighting all over the place. It's still got a 200, well, not 200 army of BCs anymore, as it keeps losing SCVs, but it's still got 16 battlecruisers. But there's the last of the money for BenBot gone. Once you stop mining, that 10k bank disappears very quickly. Yamato cannons are going to kill off a Tempest, though. A Colossus wandering too far forward. I mean, it's going to buy time, though. Meanwhile, Sharkbot is still just tearing into the Terran main. And, yeah, BenBot, yeah, it kills off that location, but then it's trying to go to the north to save this Planetary, really its last mining spot. BenBot, the main base has been compromised, so no more units are popping out to be repaired. Vikings are just getting shot down pretty much as soon as they spawn out. It's just been like 30, like once the fighting started in this match, I don't know when it was, like the 15-minute mark, it just never really stopped. There's still some good efficiency for BenBot, but look at this, Sharkbot, it's still got a base that's relatively fresh. And so the cost efficiency for BenBot, it needs to be better, and it's just been getting worse for the past little while. And so I think Sharkbot has probably got this one, because BenBot's down to 69 supply. A not nice amount of supply. Yamato cannons going down, killing off more Tempest. The BCs are flying forward, but once they take damage this time, I'm not sure there's going to be a repair for them. Storm on where they're teleporting on in is brutal. The Tempest can just pop off these BCs, and that is going to be a Sharkbot victory. Definitely the underdog at the start of this match, but with the way it was kind of getting bullied there, I was worried for Sharkbot. And so quite a nice comeback from the Protoss bot. Once it got aggressive, things improved. Again, BenBot's own expanding behavior, I think, maybe hurt it a little bit, because there definitely was a time that BenBot could have taken these bases before Sharkbot did. Then maybe Sharkbot wouldn't have tried to expand there, and maybe BenBot would have had the resources it needed. And so, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you watched all the way to the end of this so far 33-minute game, go ahead, click that like button if you haven't already. Join the Discord, which is linked down below, and leave a comment saying more bots if you want to see more bots. And yeah, if you're a new viewer and you watched all the way to the end of this, go ahead and click that subscribe button, as that's a great way to get daily bot videos in your feed. If you do want to support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member or a subscriber plus, whatever they're calling it these days. But big thanks to everyone that does support the channel. And yeah, that is gonna be it. Definitely good to cast these long bot games. If you enjoy them, let me know, because I certainly enjoy casting these crazy matches between bots like BenBot and Sharkbot and Canonana. And yeah, that is going to be that. I'll see you guys next time.